Men, and I use the term loosely as usual. Hey, we got a little different kind of video today, a video that's not really a video, more like a slideshow. I took a road trip to go see one of you viewers' rides. Guy wants to remain anonymous to protect his location and protect his very fine piece of property here. So let's just say his name is Bob, and he lives somewhere between Gainesville and Brownsville, and somewhere between Houston and El Paso. That narrows it down quite a bit, I'm sure. So what you're looking at is basically a 67 XLCH. And although there's quite a bit about it that looks basically stock, there's also quite a bit that isn't. Bob's owned this thing for 40 years. It's been through a couple of incarnations, and we're going to go over this thing, and it's just full of eye candy and detail work, and it's just incredible. And if you see this going down the road, this is likely the only view you're going to get of it. What a well cared for 40-year-old paint job looks like. So let's get started. You're looking at the left side of the motor and a pair of handmade aluminum jugs with pressed-in liners. These are big bore cylinders. I believe the base studs have been relocated outboard. They're one of a kind. You can't buy them. They're handmade. Notice the braided steel oil lines used throughout the bike. These are real aircraft quality, and these are real AN-type connections. These are not them piece of crap fake ones with the hose clamp underneath the outer shell of the fitting. Real steel lines. Nice touch. Check out this very cool cast primary cover. This is made by Enfield Racing. They're still in business. Link is included in the description down below. Notice it's got a engine sprocket and a primary cover that accepts, a dragster style external starter. And Bob says you need it badly on this thing. It can be a bitch to kick. And of course, an external oil filter cooler, along with some more real braided stainless steel aircraft quality type lines. Very nice. The bike has a Joe Hunt magneto, and that black doodad you're looking at is how you trick a 2-plug magneto into firing 4 plugs. So each magneto lead comes out separately, goes to one of these things, and this thing fires 2 plugs on the same cylinder. This little silver button looking doodad is one of them automatic compression releases. There's one on each head, of course. The very astute among you might notice that the heads of these socket cap head bolt screws look a little small, and that's because they are. A normal Sportster head bolt is 7/16. These are 3/8, and they have to be smaller because the big bore impinges on the tapped hole for the head bolt. Hence, you have to use a little bit smaller bolt. And if I remember correctly, I think Bob told me this was 90 cubic inches. Grade L9 top motor mount bolt. Closer view of the 2 smaller head bolts. This is one thing I would have really liked to try to have avoided if I was building it, but unfortunately, one of the compromises of doing a big bore. You guys are probably well aware of that cheesy, crappy little clutch release lever on the back of the worm. Uh, there is a heavy duty lever that could be welded on there, but Bob chose to go about fixing that Harley deficiency in an entirely different way. What you see here is a one of a kind CNC manufactured sprocket cover with a release mechanism, a clutch release mechanism that works very similar in principle to a flathead 45 clutch release. Another FYI, the Kickstarter shaft goes through a ball bearing pressed into the sprocket cover. No bushing, a ball bearing. Nice. Look at the detail in this thing. The clutch cable lines up exactly with the release arm. Nicely done. And now you got a cone-shaped nut anchoring the clutch cable and the clutch cable anchor. That's beautiful work. And another homemade cone-shaped nut holding the clamp for the spark splitter. And the installation is topped off with what else? A little red nipple in the end of the cable. Nice. And then the mag retard cable is routed perfectly in line with the lever on the mag. Look how neatly he's folded the cotter pin over. Look at this kickstart arm. The pinch bolt has been counterbored so it sits flush. The other side of the arm is threaded so there's no bolt head or nut sticking out of the kickstart arm. Perfectly smooth. And the bolt that holds the kickstart pedal on has been countersunked, keeping the top end of the kickstart arm perfectly smooth. Note the vintage S&S GAL drag racing carburetor. And one pair of Thunderjet enrichers. These are still available from the usual sources. And yes, it has nitrous. No need to put a pointy arrow pointing that out. It's there, that's for sure. I don't know anything much about nitrous at all. I've never installed one, never run one. I'm going to try to explain how this setup works. And you nitrous guys probably could tell me more about it than I could tell you, but I'll give it a go. Okay, this is the nitrous arming switch. When you flip that switch, you energize this solenoid. After you arm the system, nitrogen pressurizes the system, but it is not immediately injected into the manifold. This is what is called a wet nitrous system. This fuel line comes from the gas tank and goes to this fuel pump. The fuel pump pumps the gas to this solenoid. When the solenoid is fired, gas and nitrous will flow to the nozzles in the manifold. This is a micro switch that is rigged to the throttle plate. It's adjusted to close when the throttle plate is wide open. So when you arm the nitrous system and open the throttle all the way, this switch will energize the solenoid that actually fires the nitrous and gasoline mix into the carb. And these are the nozzles where the fuel nitrous mixture is actually sprayed into the manifold. If you look carefully, you might be able to see that the two ports are labeled. One is labeled N2O and the other one is labeled fuel. Apparently you don't want to get them mixed up. So that's it in a nutshell. Arm the switch, whack the throttle wide open, and hang on, buddy, because you're going for a ride. Uh, when you hit the nitrous, it will just spin the rear wheel. Bob says, no matter what gear you're in, you're gone. So yeah, that sounds like fun to me. And here's another big bore consideration. When you go big bore, you lose the oil drain back holes in the cylinder. So it's necessary to drill into the bottom of the rocker box cavities in the head and route oil lines so you could run the oil back to the crankcase some other way. That's what these oil lines are for, you're looking at right now. So there are four drainback lines, two from each cylinder head that run around to the right side of the engine and meet at this Y. And there is a hole in a fitting that allow the oil to drain back into the cam chest right here. And behind these two red caps buried in the rocker box is a set of roller rocker arms. So, despite all this high tech modification, Bob tried very hard to maintain the stock appearance in a lot of respects. You know, like up here on the neck, this looks to me to be very much original type cable and line routing, and you know, the original shimmy dampener and the gaiters. You know, it's a kind of a nice touch. And if you're driving around a high performance hand grenade like this, you need a few spare parts laying around just in case. If I had to summarize this bike in just one phrase, it would be meticulous attention to detail. This is among the finest, if not the finest, Sportster I've ever seen. Very well done, Bob. Very well done. You've got a lot to be proud of in this one. Thank you ever so much for giving me the opportunity to view it in your shop. Just a quick reminder, you can help support and grow this channel, first of all and most importantly, by hitting that subscribe button. So if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to do a little more, join me on Patreon. Links down below. So go ahead and join me on Patreon if you feel so inclined. And finally, coffee cups, stickers, and gas tank covers are available. This is a new design coffee cup. I like the old ones, but I like these new ones even better. Links will be provided in the description down below. Get yourself some. And thank you all ever so much for watching these videos. I really appreciate it. Bye.